Hey, good morning, Kat Koppett. How you doing this morning?
I'm great, John Register. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. It's always lovely to see you on these Saturdays. I love jumping off these morning. I need we need a cup like a cup of coffee or something that we can
What are you
take.
talking
All,
about?
all,
Of course, we've
all
got a
I
cup
Do
of
you got your
coffee.
cup? I have my my jade here from Japan.
Oh,
So
very fancy.
that's we don't need sake this morning.
Mm-mm.
Uh, So if you're
Well,
wondering, everybody out there, what it takes to achieve remarkable success, to overcome obstacles and transform your performance in the face of big change, you are in the right place.
welcome to Performance Shift, the show that will take you on a journey of discovery, exploration, and transformation, and give you the tools to navigate your own moments of change.
My name is John Register. I'm a two-time Paralympic athlete, combat Army veteran, and an author. And this is,
Kat Koppett, an organizational consultant, author, and improviser.
and together we are sharing our expertise and insights into navigating change and finding success in the face of adversity.
That's right. We do that live here every other Saturday morning at 7:30 Mountain Time, 9:30 Eastern. Or you can watch it when you get up later on a Saturday morning, asynchronously on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn.
Whenever you want to watch it, you can watch it. Just do what you need to do, everybody. So if you've been enjoying these episodes, please select the notification bell and share it with a friend. We love having these conversations. We've been doing this for a little while now because Kat and I just got together kind of during the pandemic, really, as great friends and just started helping each other out. And it's been wonderful. And we just wanted to continue to have these conversations that we have on Saturday mornings with you of what we talk about.
Y'all
So
are just an excuse for us to schmooze with each other, really.
It's just right. So today it's all about stories and really as we've been going through this series, selling stories today,
Mm.
selling stories. Um, and as we talk about selling stories, what is the relationship between stories and selling?
Well, I would love to hear your thoughts on that as well, but I'll start here. I think that, as we've been talking in this series, the way our brains work as human beings is that we take in information and then we make up stories about it, right? That's how we understand
Right.
things, it's how we remember it. So in selling, we're what we're hoping to do is create a story of value in the mind of our clients or customers,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
And uh, we can recognize then when we're selling that that is the activity we're doing. And so both in terms of the story we're telling, but also the stories we're eliciting from the people that we're talking to, we can better understand them and their needs, and then we can align our solutions with their needs more explicitly if we're thinking as storytellers. Do you
Absolutely. Well, I think that's exactly where I was kind of going to go. I was taking it down to like when I am before a client or I'm in a situation where um, where I have to sell because it's kind of a weird space. Because when you are the product, it's like I don't know how much I should say because it feels like bragging, and I don't know about this. But I have to always remember that it's about the end client and the solution that they are looking for. And when I put it or frame it into a story, it's more palatable. Instead of just throwing data, facts, figures at folks, which we all know data stats, and we can, move them around for how we want them. When I come in with a story and I share the story of maybe some of their pain points of the organization, and I do that through, what is it that you need to amputate, right? What do you need to amputate in your, and so a story comes up in their head and we talk about that. And what do you need to amplify? And another story comes up with that. And I become the bridge that connects the two. So
Mm,
it makes it very simple for them to say that, oh, you're the right solution because I can become that bridge. And I've been doing it in my story for a very long time. As an Olympic class athlete, we have the Olympics coming up this summer in Paris, France. We also have the Paralympic Games that are coming up in Paris, France, that happen about 14 days after the Olympics close down. And so my story bridges the gap between Olympics and Paralympics,
mm.
having been an Olympic class athlete, having qualified for the Olympic Games, having an injury to my left leg causes amputation, and now I've become a Paralympic athlete. I kind of bridge both these worlds, and it's an amazing, unique space because a lot of people when we're selling, trying to sell like Paralympics, they want to become an Olympic class athlete, which in my opinion is you're trying you already start off in a place of thinking that you're less than
Mm.
another group of individuals. So that's kind of how I've been using story and selling.
There are like 12 things that you just said that I want to that I want to follow up on them.
That's what
Um,
usually happens, people.
all right, we're going to be here for 4 hours. No, no. So the first thing you said that caught my attention was um, selling can be a weird space. Recognizing that you're in a space of selling, and I think two things then there. One is you were talking about selling yourself as a product. But even before you get to selling yourself as a product, just the act of selling something can feel to a lot of people I know
Mhm,
uncomfortable, right?
mhm. Right, right,
We have stories, we have ambient narratives about what it means to be a salesperson, a sort of sleazy used car salesman, nothing against used car salesmen. But um and so I think that one of the levels, whether we're selling ourselves or anything, is to reframe or investigate what are the stories I'm telling myself, and then how do I frame a story so that what I'm selling, as you were saying, is value to the other person as opposed to just a specific product or me, whether it's me or not. How
right.
does that land?
Yeah, yes. I think when you're saying that, it's the way I'm interpreting it is I have a product, and this product is going to be of value to you, and that's why I want this into your hands because I see a need
Right.
for you to use this for the solution that you're looking for.
Yeah.
And if I can get in that mindset, if I can tell that story, then it's easier for me to sell because I'm actually offering a benefit, a solution for what you desperately are asking for.
Right.
And that makes the selling easier because you're offering the solution. And you're right, when it's sleazy, when it kind of feels sleazy, is when you don't have that solution. And so Justin Jones Sulo was talking to us yesterday at the National Speakers Association Denver chapter meeting. And he was saying to us as speakers, do not take the stage if you can't answer or if you can't handle the Q&A that comes after it. I call it the Q&O, questions and opinions, because I have no answers.
Yeah.
And if you can't answer it, then don't get up there. And I went back. I was like, oh my gosh, how many times have I actually done that? It was painful. It was really painful. Speaking for an organization where I took the opportunity and I had no business. What I should have done was, for example, this is an example.
Yeah.
If somebody wanted a fantastic facilitator, and I can facilitate, but they wanted the best, I would say, let me get you Cat Koppett.
See what you did there.
I see what I did there? Because she just wrote a book, y'all, on facilitation. It's great. It's an awesome book. I just
Stand
read
by. I'm sure we'll talk.
it. But that's it. I want to support and elevate the stories of somebody else I know in my sphere of influence because they're better and they're going to serve the client better. So that becomes a better selling of a story.
Yeah. Right. And what strikes me when you say that is that, again, starting with yourself, like what are the stories I'm telling myself about um, the value I have to add, right? We were talking in a previous episode about self-talk and the stories we tell ourselves in order to the link here feels to me like in order to pitch a program that we have or sell myself into an organization to help facilitate an offsite or whatever it is I'm doing, or as a keynote speaker, I will be much more effective if A, I understand the needs of my clients, and B, I really believe in my product, right? I believe that I'm meeting that need. If I don't, if I don't know how to bridge, as you're saying, their need and what I have to offer, I'm not going to be able to tell a very convincing story. And maybe that's because I don't actually, they shouldn't buy me,
Yeah,
you know?
right, right.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah,
Um,
that's right. So how then do you um when we talk like trusting in stores, because I think that's going to our a trust area. The clients trust us, we're trusting the clients. We're trying to get this dance. Are we the right person? Are we the right fit? And there's some things that we can do to kind of research, but then we're in the conversation. We want to know, is this a right fit for us?
yeah.
What do you do? What have you done to kind of raise those
Yeah.
stakes for the client, maybe for yourself?
Right. I think the first thing we do is start with trying to understand their story, right? So people will call us and say, we want to, we want you to come in and do a team building event with us or facilitate our offsite. How much is it? Right? And there's, and it can be very, there can be a lot of pressure to sort of answer that question and go like, oh, they want to buy, like, okay, here you go. Um, but we try to train ourselves to go like, let's have a conversation first, right? We can actually design and offer you all sorts of things. Let us understand you first. So, whenever possible, we try to have live conversations um, before we offer any solutions and really spend that first conversation, as I say, uncovering the other person's story, facilitating them in understanding their needs and their goals. And then when we write our proposals, the first part of the proposal is called our understanding. And
Mhm,
we feed
mhm.
back to them as verbatim as we can, but also summarizing insights, what we heard them say. And I really think this is the first storytelling activity that we do, which is here's the story we heard you tell. Here's what we think you care about. Here's what we think you're looking for. And then the second part is here's what we have to offer. Um, and we'll, do whatever our design is. I am convinced, I should do a survey of clients, but I'm convinced that 80 to 90% of the work that we book is because of that first part where we say we heard your story, as opposed to anything we say at the end. Because if people, they give us feedback, oh yeah, you really understood us, right? If we get that right, they'll go like, well, you're the expert on your solution, I'll trust that whatever you do is right. Not everybody, but a lot of people.
Right.
Whereas if we don't get that right, then they're not going to trust that we understand and care about them.
I think that's gold. Um, it's almost like when we use a person's name in a sentence, people like to hear their own name, and they like to hear their own name said correctly. It's if you are able to say back to a person their story of what they have just shared with you, then they do feel heard. They feel connected,
Yeah.
and it's not coming from a place of authenticity. Right? It's not
No,
inauthentic. It's
no,
coming
not at
because
all.
I really want to understand who you are, and there's no manipulation about it. What does that look like? Because I've seen it. Because there's comes this fine line of like this manipulation. Oh, I'm only doing this to get back to you what you said to me, so I can actually win the business.
Well, you tell me, like, what do you do? Because you're a master at this.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so when starts going down, or if I feel like I'm being manipulated in a situation, right? Because you said, let's just go to price. Oh, wait a minute, time out.
Yeah.
It's like taking your car to the shop, and that's what I do, right? What's the price? Just give me the doggone price.
Yeah, yeah.
And the mechanic's like, I don't even know what the problem is yet,
Right.
right? So we have to get to that piece of it. And I find that I just had a potential client was asking, I kind of called a timeout and I said, okay, they wanted me to go through my solutions and everything. I said, well, I don't even know the problem yet. I didn't say that. But what
Right.
I said was, well, tell me a little bit more about your theme. Why did you pick this theme? Because in my mind, when I saw the theme, I was going to go a different direction. But when I heard what they were saying, I said, this isn't aligning with their theme. So I asked them, I just said, tell me more about this theme. And it come to find out, they sort of just kind of picked the theme. And
Oh,
it wasn't like,
oh
I was
no.
like, oh, okay, that's different. I get it. People are rushed and stressed and, they just doing it. So but at the same time, I want to be able to help them
Yeah.
deliver something that they really want, no matter if the theme aligns or not. Right. So
Yeah.
I was going to go a different direction based upon their theme. And I shifted and I told them, I said, I was going to go this direction based on your theme, but this is the way you need to go. From what you say is the outcome you want for your attendees to have
Yeah.
after I leave that stage, we need to go this way. And here's some ways that we can do it. And I offer different ways beyond just a keynote speech. Maybe it's a fireside chat. Maybe it's a panel discussion. Maybe it's a breakout session that we can go deeper. So there's different ways to deliver the content. And depending upon which way you want to go, we have structures for that, right? And
Right.
maybe we want to structure it as we want multiple times to deal with it. So after I leave, then we come back and we do some online training or some things in my models that we're talking about. But if I don't get to that and I'm just trying to sell the bottom line, then I come in there with the wrong speech
Yeah.
or the wrong focus of the speech, right?
Yeah.
And there's, oh, well, we really didn't want that. Well, I just hit your theme.
Right.
And they're like, no, we wanted kind of this. So it's really great of what you said to get the clarity up front on what's under the hood. What are we really dealing with here? And then let me see if I'm the solution for your problem. It's like going to a general surgeon versus a specialist,
Yeah.
right?
You're reminding me of one of my favorite classes in graduate school.
Hmm.
I did an organizational psychology program, and Harvey Hornstein was uh, one of the elite professors there, and he taught a course called process consulting, right? Which is sort of the key field that most of the folks in the program were going to go into. And we had a real client. It was a great course. It was like a practicum. And he divided the class into 4 groups. And one group was in charge of sort of the internal process. And then there was a needs analysis group, a solutions design group, and a presentation group. And the thing I remember most from that course, everything we did, was that he said, the needs analysis is an intervention.
Hmm.
He said,
Hmm.
you've already offered value as a consultant by helping the client uncover what they actually care about and want and need. So that was a great example that you just gave of, rather than simply saying, oh, you want this? Let me sell you, let me upgrade you to the fancy model. You actually added value already by having the conversation and saying, wait, why did you choose this? What do you actually want and need?
Right.
And I
It's
think when, just sort of getting back to trust, which was your
right.
initial question, that's how you build trust, right? You build trust by demonstrating that you understand and care about the client's needs, regardless of whether it's going to make you the most money or get you the most transactional sale in the moment.
Yeah. I recently did that for a friend of mine, and we all are in a little mastermind. And there's a client that had used me before, and it was very successful training that we did with them. And so they wanted me to do it in a different area, and I was like, that's not my area of expertise, but I know somebody that is fantastic in this area. You need to talk to her. And so I'm sure that they went on. I just kind of made the introduction and kind of left it alone. And but the gentleman said, "Hey, thank you for sharing that. I've never really seen anybody kind of give up, an opportunity." And I said, "Yeah, um, I just know it's going to be better served with this person. You're going to be better served with this person." So hopefully that comes back around. I'm not going to lie. I want it's kind of hard to give the business up, but at the same time, you're I'm trying to make sure that the client has the best of it, which is in my sphere of influence, to deliver to their companies. So in governments, I think transparency is another deal, that because that goes into transparency. I'm being transparent, vulnerable about my capabilities of my area of expertise. And oftentimes, I think leaders, CEOs, executives, they don't want to be seen as not having all the answers. But sometimes we don't. That's why we have a team around us, because we don't have all the answers. We get a team to cover the spread. And if our teams are diverse enough, then we can kind of cover almost all the spreads that are out there. It's when a lack of transparency comes in that we start having trouble. Governments operate without transparency. It leads to lack of accountability, lack of trust. Um,
Governments act without transparency?
well, do you
What are you
know?
talking about, John?
Really? So we
We
have all these things. Yeah,
we
it's
don't have that much more time, but I do wanna ask you about,
yeah.
what are we've talked about different types of stories a little bit. We've talked a lot so far about sort of soliciting stories or understanding our client's story, and you've given some examples of the types of some stories that you tell, but do you have sort of a rubric or ideas about tracking the kinds of different stories that might be useful to us as salespeople?
I think some of the stories that I'm looking for are like overcome the monster. We talked about some of these in future episodes. Like, what's the monster you're trying to slay? What's the end goal? Is there a dragon that is preventing you from doing
Mhm.
X, Y, or Z? The other one could be, the hero's journey, and maybe that's we're on a quest for finding out new information or new solutions. Or maybe it's the voyage and return, where the person's coming back with this new sense of information and want to get it out. I like that one because it's that story generally leads to how middle managers can lead up. You went to a training session, you came back with this information. Now you want to implement some of this information, but the CEOs or the C-suite are resisting the information that is coming to them. So how do you lead? What's the story that you need to lead with to help them understand that this would be a great direction to go? It resonates with me because that's happened to me several times. And I think when I look back on it, I think that sometimes I just didn't articulate the story well
Mm.
enough. Or, as I found out this past week, that I did articulate the story, it just wasn't the time for that story to move forward. But now they're actually using the story that I did after I've left the organization. So I just found that
Wow.
out this week. Which is fine with me. I think that it's because, again, if you come with the right intent with the story, you really want the best for that end user, that client. In this case, it was athletes. So I'm glad they're actually doing it. Then I heard rumblings that it's not being done. Well, it doesn't matter, but it does. So I'm not in that space. But at least there's something being done, because in this case, athletes, they need this, because there is a transition that's going to happen in their lifetime, like in all of our lives. But we're not thinking about it in such a way of the things that's going to help us thrive in our next environment that we shift to.
Mhm.
Mhm. See how I did that performance shift to?
I saw that.
You see that?
Uh, yeah, that last one especially is like a story of the future, and we talk about sometimes um, stories of the past and stories of the future, positive stories and negative stories. And many of us have habits right? Like I love
Yeah.
to tell, positive stories of the future. Here's the beautiful future that we're going to have if we do this. And that's great. But sometimes it's not the most motivating because of people that say, that's great. But, really, I'm just worried about, protecting what I have today, or I'm already overwhelmed and that's a nice to have, but I can leave it. So a lot of salespeople talk about finding pain points
Yeah.
and really what they're doing. So they might be telling a story, which I kind of don't always love, uh, but that's a sort of, you can tell a past negative story, right? Like here's how it's been so awful, or a negative future story if you don't do this.
Right. Mhm.
And that's the story I heard you just telling, right? Like everything might be great right now. You've got this wonderful career as an athlete, but in 30 seconds you could have an injury,
Right.
or you're gonna get old. Like 40 is not old as a human, but it's old as an athlete. What's your second
Which is
life gonna be, right?
right.
So being able to sort of assess what are the types of stories I typically tell, and then how do I expand my range so that I can have even more evocative stories for the client about why they should care or what this can do for them.
We really do need to tell ourselves more positive stories because it's easy to tell the negative story. Even when I do training sessions, I don't leave with the positive because it's too hard for people to really get going.
Mhm.
And so I'll say if we're doing something in storytelling or something, we'll stay on topic of storytelling. Don't tell me something that went right. Tell me this something that went wrong in your life. And all of a sudden I get like thousands of stories. And then if we walk through it with a owner mindset, like Dr. Marty Seligman, right? Positive psychology. We can take the negative story of learned helplessness, maybe, into an learned optimistic story and an optimizing optimistic story, and then turn it into an owner mindset. So, what do I do with this new information? So, it's a really good framework that I can walk people through, or I can walk them through my own framework of the reckoning, the revision, the renewal.
Yeah.
So, any one of those kind of helps people at least frame how they can tell themselves a better story if they're starting with something that's a little bit negative.
Beautiful.
Yeah, cool. Yay.
Shall we play a game?
Shall we play a game?
If you're old like us, you understand that reference.
You know what that reference is.
War games? Is that the name of that
War
game?
games, yeah.
The back in the old innocent days when all we worried about was nuclear obliteration.
That's right.
And we could solve it all with a game of tic-tac-toe.
Tic-tac-toe, that's
How's
right.
that for a story?
That's right.
All right. Um, well, I was thinking about, we're talking about selling and really understanding your client's needs and then framing your solution in terms of their needs. So I would like us to play a game called Magic Gifts. We may have done this before
Magic.
back in the day. What's going to happen is you're going to just share something, a need that you have currently in your life or something that's going on with you. And then I will come up with a magical gift to give you back to meet that need. So,
Okay. I need in my life right now to get my bicycle tires fixed because I want to go out for a bicycle ride this afternoon. And I'm struggling trying to get my bicycle to the shop in order to make sure everything's checked out.
great. Well, John, so the first part of this game is sort of confirming back. So what I hear is that you want to go for a bike ride, you have a bicycle that needs new tires or to be fixed in some way so that you can do that. Am I getting that right?
I feel so heard.
Excellent. Well, I have what I have here is a little bicycle elf.
Huh,
Uh, and you can just, as long as you make him a nice little area, like in your garage, somewhere in the house, he will just always be there. He will fix and maintain your bike so that it is always ready to go. You never have to take it anywhere. and it'll just be in tip-top shape whenever you want to go for a ride.
Thank you for this, Elf. You need to be in the garage right now, but thank you so much. There's a bed out there, everything. You can sleep out there. Off you go.
It's like, and it's very fulfilling for him. He's, you know, he's well compensated by the elf union. So.
Thank you, Jerry.
Yeah. There you go. That's how it goes.
Love it. That's good. I'll expect my bike to be done.
That's right. I just, you know, we hang out here. Do you want to? Should we swap?
Yeah. No, do one. Yeah.
One of the things on my mind right now, John, is that I just have trouble prioritizing. There's so many things I want to do, so many possible projects, you know, for clients, for myself. The book is coming out, and I can't figure out how to find time for everything, or how to like choose between all of the things that I should be doing.
So what I'm hearing is that you're having trouble prioritizing, juggling all these different balls you have in the air, all these different competing interests that are in your life right now. And I just happen to have for you, it's a stone stepper ladder widget.
Stone stepper ladder widget?
Stone stepper ladder widget is going to change your life, because as you begin to put your priorities against this stone, it's going to lay those stones out for you in the order that you need to do every one of those priorities. And the ladder is going to let them rise as those stones are being let out, so that at the end, you're going to be just have the best outcomes that you can have for every one of those priorities. Stone stepper ladder wizard. Check it out.
That is exactly what I need.
Here
Thank
you go.
So much. Oh, wow. My problem is solved.
Problem solved.
I have to tell you that I have this little voice in my head that, like, I don't know if it's I'm concerned about like elf labor. Like, I don't like, I'm thinking Harry Potter, like, I don't want slave elves. So,
Dobby.
Yeah, like, so your as I say, your elf is compensated. He's very happy. And
he's very happy. Okay.
It's fulfilling work.
Perfectly. Because he wants to be of service.
That's right. And we're compensating him. Yeah. Yikes.
Get over there, elf.
Stories. I've got stories.
Stories. Yeah, the stories. That's a game. Awesome.
Little cobbler elves. Nobody ever thought about their lives.
Now we're getting to Santa and all the, you know.
Well, they just, you know, that's just him, you know, I don't know. I'm assuming
they're working. I don't think they get compensated.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yell this every year.
That's right. And they hope they have a nice
they get one night off.
Retirement program. They get vacation. Well, actually, they probably get like 10 months off a year, right?
No, they're working they get one night off a year, because when Santa leaves, they yay, yippee.
They only get like one night off. This is terrible. All right.
Their night.
Yeah. Boy, that was a rabbit hole. Oh well. Well, John, what comes next? What are we talking about next time? Do we know?
I don't have it up. But,
oh, yeah.
Do you have it?
I thought I did. Now I can't find it. We'll tell you. Come back in 2 weeks. We'll talk about something else that has to do with storytelling.
We have. I don't remember the next topic, but it's going to be good. It's always going to be good.
It is going to be good.
Because it's with Kat and I and so and me. So the
I got it.
Selling. Yeah, you have it. It's okay.
Listening for stories, which we sort of previewed.
We did look at that,
and we will dive even more deeply into.
I heard selling can be a weird space. Start with understanding their story, our understanding what we heard. I don't know what that meant. Our understanding what we heard. Then repeating back what we heard, which we're going to talk about more about next week. And the one thing I was sharing earlier was about how we needed to, start with do the positive side of stories. so that we are always offering to our clients, hearing them and offering the better stories to them for the solutions that they're really looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was your takeaway for this week?
Um, I really like this conversation we're having about not selling the wrong solution and having the courage and care
Yeah.
that if you are not the right solution or you don't have it, to help your client and support your client in finding that
Hmm.
potentially, but not pretending to be the right
Right.
solution. Because if we're trying to build relationships, if we're trying to build trust, as opposed to just a one-off transactional used car relationship, um, we're much better off than, circling. For everybody, it's better. It's more ethical, but also ultimately probably best for us as well.
Absolutely. So if you want to get a hold of Kat Koppett, here it is right there. Kat, just go to Koppett.com, Koppett.com, and you can book her, connect with her there. If you want to, with myself, you want to book me to speak, it's just at johnregister.com, and you can go there as well. We're always talking about these conversations every week, well, every other weekend on our performance shift. So that's it for today's episode. We hope that you enjoyed our discussion and gained some valuable insights that you can apply to your own life and your own work. So if you want to learn more about the power of transformation, how you can shift your own performance to achieve your goals and dreams, be sure to subscribe to our newsletter, our LinkedIn Live, Facebook Lives, and YouTube channel, and join us for our next episode. If you found this episode helpful, we'd love for you to leave us a review on your favorite social media channel where you listen to the show. Your feedback helps us to improve the show and reach more listeners like you. So see you next time. Go forth, inspire your world. My name is John Register, and she is
Cat Koppett.
and we'll see you next time on Performance Shifts. Bye for now.